Hi, my name is Lauren Kavalstad, and I am a student in the Education 563 Youth and Digital Media course at University of San Diego. And this is my first vlog, and the topic is digital native and digital immigrant, and where I relate to. So I would say I would call myself a digital native based on, I feel like technology has always been around, at least digital technology. And I was born in the early 1980s, so according to Prensky's definition, that makes me a digital native. But I remember playing with my brother's video games and on the computer, our Commodore 64, and also on Nintendo, and that was just something that we did for fun. And so I feel like digital technology was around, and that translates into the classroom where my first year of teaching was in 2007, so not too long ago, but it was definitely before the era of handheld devices in the classroom. And so the technology was a overhead projector with transparencies and expo markers or vis-a-vis markers, and there was a computer lab, but it wasn't nearly the extent of application that kids use a computer lab or iPads now. And so translating that to where I am now, of my school has one-to-one iPad use, and we also have a robotics lab, and there's STREAM, TOSA, or Teacher on Special Assignment. I feel like in those 8 years, there's been a lot of changing, a lot of innovation in terms of digital technology. So when I was in Vista, I felt very, I guess, uncomfortable saying I was good at technology, and so when my next district was Del Mar, and I was the most tech savvy one there, something that I felt like I was interested in, so I went to seminars and conferences and trainings, and people would come to me for advice and recommendations on what to do and how to get technology in the classroom. And I would bring in my own personal iPad for students to use. But at that time it was math apps and reading fluency apps. And then when I was hired in Solana Beach School District, I felt like a fish out of water. I was in Del Mar very tech savvy and felt like I was kind of the cream of the crop, and then come here and I'm just average Joe, where everyone here is very tech savvy. They were doing flipped classroom, kids were blogging in 4th grade, and this is a few years ago. Kids were very familiar with Google Drive and creating keynote presentations, and definitely implementing the 4 C's, that critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication, and all of that was embedded in their technology use. So that forced me to definitely step it up in my teaching, because that's an expectation in this district, but also that has translated over into my personal life. So, if I learn about some new app or some new way of using the iPad at a professional development, most likely I'll see if I can translate that into my personal use. So one example is Google Drive. A few years ago, that was kind of alien to me, and then when I realized how it can be used with iPads, Chromebooks, and kids can access that information that they're typing in school, they can access it at home and vice versa. So they can research something at school and continue researching at home. I started using that within my own grad school assignments and my own personal use of Christmas and birthday wish lists that I would send to my parents, my family, and they would be able to see as I uploaded it and made those changes. Another example is how I've learned that blogging and Twitter and all of these very Web 2.0 tools are beneficial to students in the classroom because it's teaching them, those real-world skills, but I'm starting to use those also in my personal use. So I think overall I would say that I'm a digital native, especially when it comes to talking to someone who maybe is not as much of a go-getter with technology and maybe a little less of a risk taker. I think that's an area where I definitely feel comfortable taking risks. Thanks.